Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 13 ch13e Vibhaga Yoga, the yoga of distinguishing the field and the knower of the field, in detail. Chapter 13 of the Bhagavad Gita, titled ch13e Vibhaga Yoga, delves into the fundamental distinction between kshetra, the field, and ch13e, the knower of the field. This knowledge is presented by Lord Krishna as crucial for attaining true understanding and liberation. Arjuna initiates the chapter by asking Krishna about the nature of Prakriti, nature, matter, Purusha, the enjoyer, spirit, the kshetra, the kshetrajana, knowledge, janana, and the object of knowledge, jane. Here's a detailed breakdown of the key topics covered in this chapter. 1. Definition of kshetra, the field, verses 1 to 7. Krishna begins by defining the kshetra as this body. However, this body is not limited to the physical form alone. It encompasses the entire psychophysical organism, including the 5 great elements, Mahabhutani, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, space. These are the fundamental building blocks of the physical world and the physical body. Ego, ahankara, the sense of I, or mind, the false identification with the material body and mind. Intellect, buddhi, the faculty of discrimination, understanding, and decision-making. The unmanifested, avyakta, the primordial, indifferentiated state of Prakriti, the source of all material manifestation. The 10 senses, indriyani, 5 senses of perception, hearing, touch, sight, taste, smell, and 5 senses of action, speech, hands, feet, anus, genitals. The one mind, manas, the faculty of thought, feeling, and willing. It processes sensory input and generates desires and emotions. The 5 objects of the senses, visaya, sound, touch, form, taste, and smell, the stimuli perceived by the senses. Desire, ichcha, hatred, dvesa, pleasure, sukham, pain, dukham, these are the feelings and reactions that arise within the field. The aggregate, sanghata, the combination of all the above elements forming the body-mind complex. Intelligence, satana, consciousness as it is conditioned by the field. Fortitude, dhrati, the capacity for endurance and perseverance. Krishna emphasizes that all these constitute the field of activity where the Purusha interacts with Prakriti. 2. Definition of kshetrajana, the knower of the field, verses 2 to 3. The kshetrajana is defined as the one who knows this body, the field. This refers to the individual soul, Atma, the conscious principle that is aware of the activities and experiences within the kshetra. Crucially, Krishna declares that he, the Supreme Lord, is also the knower in all fields. This signifies the presence of the Paramatma, Supersoul, residing within every living being, witnessing all activities. Understanding both the individual Atma and the Paramatma as the knowers of the field is declared to be true knowledge. 3. The nature of knowledge, Janana, verses 8 to 12. Krishna then elaborates on what constitutes true knowledge, listing a series of qualities that cultivate this understanding. Humility, amanitvam, absence of pride and the desire for recognition. Unpretentiousness, adambhitvam, lack of hypocrisy and outward show of righteousness. Non-violence, ahimsa, abstinence from causing harm to any living being in thought, word, or deed. Forbearance, kshanti, tolerance and patience in the face of difficulties and insults. Uprightness, arjavam, honesty and straightforwardness in thought, speech, and action. Service to the teacher, akaryapasanam, respectful and dedicated service to a genuine spiritual preceptor. Purity, sokam, internal and external cleanliness. Steadfastness, stharin, firmness and perseverance in one's spiritual practices. Self-control, atma vinigraha, restraint of the senses and the mind. Detachment from sense objects, indriyarthesu vairagyam, absence of strong attachment to the pleasures derived from the senses. Absence of egoism, anahankara, freedom from the false identification with the material body and mind. Perception of the evil in birth, death, old age, sickness, and pain, janma mistatu jara vyadhi dukha dosanudasanam, recognizing the inherent suffering in the cycle of material existence. Non-attachment, asakte, freedom from excessive attachment to family, home, and possessions. Even-mindedness in pleasure and pain, anabhisvanga putra dara gradisu nityam, maintaining equanimity in both favorable and unfavorable situations. Constant devotion to me, avibhikarani bhakte, unwavering and exclusive devotion to the Supreme Lord. Resorting to solitary places, vivikta disa sevitvam, finding joy in solitude and detachment from worldly crowds. Distaste for the company of materialistic people, artirjana samsadi, lack of attraction to the association of those overly attached to material pursuits. Constancy in self-knowledge, adhyatm janana nityatvam, steadfastness in the pursuit of spiritual understanding. Perception of the end of true knowledge, tattva jananarth darshanam, understanding the ultimate goal of knowledge, self-realization and union with the divine. Krishna concludes this section by stating that all that is contrary to this is ignorance, ajnana. 4. The object of knowledge, Janayam, the Supreme Brahman, verses 13 to 18. Krishna then describes the Janayam, the object of true knowledge, which is the Supreme Brahman. He uses paradoxical language to convey its transcendental nature, as it is beyond the grasp of the limited intellect. Beginningless, anadi, it has no origin. Beyond being and non-being, nasat and nasad uc8, it transcends the limitations of existence and non-existence as we understand them in the material world. Pervading everywhere, sarvata pani padam tat sarvato, kesai sero mukham, having hands, feet, eyes, heads, and mouths everywhere, signifying its all-pervasiveness. Hearing everything, sarvata sritima lokai, possessing the ability to hear everything. Unattached yet supporting all, sarvam avrityatisti, it sustains everything without being attached to it. Without qualities yet the enjoyer of qualities, nirgunam guna bhoktraka, it is beyond the material modes, gunas, yet experiences them through the senses of all beings. Within and without all beings, anta bahis ca bhutanam, it exists both inside and outside all living entities. Unmoving yet moving, akaram karam eva ca, it is both stationary and moving. Subtle and unknowable, sukshmatva tad avijnayam, it is so subtle that it is beyond the comprehension of the material senses and mind. Far away yet near to all, durastham kantike katat, it is transcendent yet resides within the heart of every being. Undivided yet appearing divided, avibhaktam ka bhutesu vibhaktam ivakastitam, the one, it appears divided among all living beings. The light of all lights, jyotismapi tad jyotis, the source of all illumination, beyond darkness. Knowledge, the knowable, and the goal of knowledge, jananam janayam jananagami, it is the very essence of knowledge, the object to be known, and the goal to be attained through knowledge. Seated in the hearts of all, HRDI Sarvasya Visthitam, residing within the heart of every living being. 5. Prakriti, nature, and Purusha, the enjoyer, verses 19 to 26. Krishna further elucidates the roles of Prakriti and Purusha. Both are beginningless, Prakritim Purusam Keva Vidhi Anadi Ubhavapi, both material nature and the individual soul are eternal and without a beginning. Modifications and qualities arise from Prakriti, Vikaramas ca Gunamas Keva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. All the changes and the three modes of nature, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, originate from Prakriti. Purusha experiences pleasure and pain, Purus Prakriti Sthohi Bhumte Prakriti Jan Guna. The individual soul, situated in Prakriti, experiences the consequences of the modes of nature. Attachment to the modes is the cause of birth in good and evil wombs, Karanam Guna Sango, Sya Sad Asad Yoni Janmasu. The soul's attachment to the different modes of Prakriti leads to its birth in various conditions. The Purusha as witness, permitter, supporter, enjoyer, and the Supreme Lord, Updrastanumanta ca Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara, the Supreme Lord, Paramatma, is present as the witness, permitter, supporter, enjoyer, and the ultimate controller within every living being. Understanding this leads to liberation. Ya evam vetti Purusam Prakritim ca Gunisaha, one who truly understands this relationship between Purusha and Prakriti and the influence of the modes is not born again, regardless of their current state. 6. Paths to self-realization, verses 24 to 26. Krishna briefly mentions different paths that lead to the understanding of the Kshetra and Kshetrajana. Through meditation, dhyanena, some realize the self through contemplation and meditation. Through the cultivation of knowledge, Sankhena Yogna, others attain understanding through philosophical inquiry and the yoga of knowledge. Through action without attachment, Karma Yogna, some realize the self through selfless action. Through hearing from others, Anya TV evam ajnanta sritvanyabhya upaste, even those who do not possess direct knowledge can transcend death by faithfully hearing and following the teachings of realized souls. 7. The indwelling Lord and the nature of action, verses 27 to 35. Krishna concludes the chapter by emphasizing the presence of the Supreme Lord in all beings, samam sarvesu bhuteshu tishthantam parameshwaram. One who sees the same Supreme Lord residing equally in all beings does not degrade themselves by their mind and attains the supreme goal. Prakriti as the performer of all actions, Prakriteva ca karmani kriyamani sarvas, all actions are performed by Prakriti, while the soul, deluded by ego, thinks itself to be the doer. The eternal and unchanging nature of the self, anaditvan nirgunatvat paramatmayam avye, the Supreme Self, being beginningless and devoid of material qualities, does not act nor is it tainted by actions, even though it resides in the body. The illuminating power of the self, Yatha prakasayati eka kratsnam lokam imam ravi, just as the sun illuminates the entire world, the individual soul illuminates the entire body with consciousness. The ultimate goal, understanding the distinction, kshetra janayor evam antaram janana kaksuise, those who perceive the difference between the kshetra and the kshetrajana with the eye of knowledge, and understand the liberation from the bondage of Prakriti, attain the supreme. In summary, Chapter 13 of the Bhagavad Gita provides a profound philosophical framework for understanding the nature of our existence. It distinguishes between the material field of our experience, body, mind, senses, etc., and the conscious knower of that field, the individual soul and the indwelling Supreme Lord. By cultivating true knowledge, characterized by humility, non-violence, devotion, and detachment, one can transcend the false identification with the material realm and realize their true nature, ultimately leading to liberation.